But if you're a music producer just starting out and you ask yourself if you should go with a Mac or with a Windows, I would definitely advise you to choose the system based on the DAW that you will choose. Hey guys, welcome to the vlog. My name is Sine. I'm a daily DJ? No, I'm a daily vlogger, DJ and producer. Welcome to my studio. Today again, my computer is struggling. I'm really thinking about getting a new one today. The only thing I will try again is changing the thermal paste. I got this one right here. I applied it a couple of weeks ago and also got rid of the dust in the computer. Entirely full of dust. This definitely helped a lot, and now someone sent me this thermal paste and told me it's the best on the market and I should try it. So I will apply it, try it for maybe 1 or 2 days, and if it doesn't help, I just will need to get a new laptop. And since the last time, a lot of you commented I should go with a Windows computer and just ditch the Mac and get maybe even a desktop computer to sit here in the studio that doesn't overheat. But whenever it comes to choose a new computer, for me, there is no other option than a Mac, for the simple reason I use Logic Pro X to produce all of my music and I use Final Cut Pro X to edit all of my videos, and changing to new programs would be just way too much trouble. I love working with them. I actually really like them. I think Logic is by far the best DAW and the most complete. Everything is in there and it's like just 200 euros, which is really inexpensive for what you get. I know the MacBook is way more expensive. You can't upgrade it. It's getting warm quite a lot and it throttles the CPU whenever you do something work intensive, which I really absolutely hate. I don't know why Apple doesn't address it. These things are called MacBook Pros, so I think they should also be able to handle pro tasks. In their defense, this machine is from late 2013. I'm using it every day for 8+ hours. I think the average time on here is like 9.5 hours per day, which is just insane. But making music for the entire day and editing videos then late at night adds up. But if you're a music producer just starting out and you ask yourself if you should go with a Mac or with a Windows, I would definitely advise you to choose the system based on the DAW that you will choose. If you go with Logic, there's no other option. Go with the Mac. If you want to go with any other DAW, just take the Windows. I have to say, in the past 2 to 3 years, there isn't really a huge difference anymore. They really caught up to Apple with the design of the software. Everything works kind of. They're way more stable, way easier to use, a lot cheaper. If you get a desktop, you can upgrade it. You can buy a new CPU. You can add more RAM, a hard drive, or SSD, whatever you want. And if you buy a laptop, a Windows laptop, the Surface 2 looks extremely cool, extremely promising. I didn't test it yet, but from all the videos that I saw and what people told me about it, it seems like a really legit and huge competitor to the MacBook Pro. If I would not use Logic, I might actually switch. And the biggest reason why I still didn't buy a new MacBook is just that I'm waiting for Apple to upgrade them. At the moment, the maximum you can get is 16 gigabytes of RAM. This one already has 16 gigabytes of RAM. So I'm trying to make this machine work as long as I can, and hopefully Apple will release before the summer a new MacBook, and I hope this one still lives. Anyways, let's now open up this machine. Please pray and hope that it won't break, won't fail, because then I have a big problem. And then let's get into what specs I think are the best for a computer for producing electronic dance music or producing in general with a computer. Is it on or off? I think it's off. I hope it's off. I hope I made it this time the correct way. Applied way less thermal paste, just a dot in the middle and let it spread out from the pressure. Now closing off the laptop again, and then hopefully it will still work. But don't get it twisted, baby, don't get too close. I'm afraid, but now it's time for the moment of truth again. Come on. Yeah, it works, but no power. By the way, that's another thing I absolutely hate Apple for. This happens at least like every year, and those chargers are 90 euros. That's really ridiculous. But the sound is good. I tested everything. Everything runs good, smooth again. It's not getting warm at all. This might be also due to the weather. As you know, like 2 days ago, snow. Whoa. It's windy. But if I would have to buy a new MacBook, I would always go, as I also did with this one, for the fully spec'd version with the highest specs possible. Since you can't upgrade it, it totally makes sense. And the main reason for me behind it to always go for the full spec'd version is, of course, that whenever I get a new computer every 3 to 4 years, I need to reinstall all of my plugins. That means Logic, all third-party plugins, which are I think like 400 and plus. All of them have codes, you need keylocks, emails, you just have a certain amount of licenses available. Some plugins 3, some 5. And every time you have a new computer and use one of those licenses, it's gone. So 1/5 or 1/3 of your very expensive plugin is gone. The less you have to reinstall a new computer, the better. The more money you save, the more time you save. For me, it usually takes at least like 2, maybe even 3 days to get everything running again. So I make sure by getting the high spec computer that it lasts the longest, and I have for the longest time my peace with redoing this entire computer stuff. You will definitely need a high CPU to take care of all of those new plugins. For example, Diva, it uses up all of your cores and it's very CPU intensive. Serum as well. And those two are the best sounding one. You of course want to work with the best sounding plugins. And I'm sometimes using 4 or 5 of these synthesizers stacked on top of each other. And if you have a computer that can't handle it, it doesn't really make fun making music. At the end, it's the most important to be creative. And if your tools are hindering you to be creative because they're just freezing, getting stuck or crashing, because being cheap at that point will make you pay 2 or 3 times later on. If you're not sure if you want to get into music production, just try it out. Just get a computer that works. You can upgrade anytime. If you do it seriously, if you have a studio, if you make it as a living, you shouldn't have a problem buying a new computer once you got your customers or your music is selling. CPU is important, the RAM is important, the hard drive should be an SSD, definitely. Graphic card is not that important, but usually if you go for a really high spec version, the graphic card should be also good, because you might start gaming in between and then you're like, why didn't I get the better graphic card? You might start editing videos using Photoshop that you need for your career as a musician. You always have to do your promotion yourself at the very beginning, and it's nice to have a machine that could also take care of these kind of task. As you know, yesterday we got the new car. I'm still really happy. We went to IKEA. I have to admit, it's not only her shopping there. I also bought here 2 things that I now will try to assemble. It's all for the records that are there in the back. I'm gonna break your heart into 1,000 tiny pieces just for fun. Okay, first one done. Now just another one. Finally all done. This side is now looking a lot better. All of the records have their spot. The mixer on top, the record player. I just need to put both guitars back onto the wall, rearrange the entire cable section over there. This side is still a mess, but improving and getting the studio every day a little bit closer to perfect. And as you know, I'm coming here every day to actually make music as much as possible. I can't share anything of it, unfortunately, today, because I'm working on a secret project, mixing a track for someone else that I just really can't share. But as you know, I yesterday gave away a spot for mixing one of your tracks that you submit to me. I will still keep this competition open for just one more day. To take part, you just have to check out yesterday's video. It's all explained in that video. And I will announce the winner tomorrow. But now, music, music, music. Baby, don't get too close. I'm gonna break your heart into 1,000 tiny pieces just for fun. All done with work in the studio. You might ask yourself if the thermal paste changed help. Yes, definitely. I have the feeling it's like 10% better. I don't know if it's just because I opened it and cleaned it a little again, or if it's really the paste, but 10% faster is a whole lot. I hope this computer will last me the next half year until Apple finally upgrades these computers. Because right now, buying one would be a big waste of money, actually. And also, by the way, if you're interested in any of the equipment that you can see here in my studio, it's all linked down below in the description as well, where you can send your tracks for feedback, send your tracks for demos for my label. Speaking of the label, the next release by the Romantic Era is coming up this Friday. I'm so excited because it's such a unique track that is just so good, and I'm pretty sure it will be a huge success. And my own next single will be out next year. There is no more releases for me coming up. The We Runnin' track is still performing so good. It just passed over 80,000 plays on Spotify in the first month. There's not much more I can ask for. Yesterday we got the new nice car. So I'm extremely happy. And just going back half a year of the daily vlogs where I was broke, had no money at all, it's a huge accomplishment. I'm really proud of myself. Also Vanessa for supporting me, and also thanks to all of you guys. Now just taking the car, picking up Vanessa from work, which doesn't make any sense at all. It takes twice as long as taking the tram, but it's a new car. It needs to be driven. It's fun. And I hope to see you tomorrow again back here in the studio. And don't miss out the video that will follow Friday, like the Saturday video. It's a special one. I have a special guest here in the studio, and I'm DJing, and the release by the Romantic Era guys. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Subscribe and like. That's it.